Learnability. I mean, I don't know if that's a word, but everybody understands what it means. Somebody is learnable. You could teach them. We don't use teachable anymore because it's not about the teaching, it's about the person who's the recipient, whether or not they want to learn, right? Some people who are learnable just learn from everything. Whereas maybe all people who are learnable, they observe, they see, they change, they modify themselves to improve. I was watching one of those Red Bull videos about a guy who's a rally car racer. They go off road and all that stuff, try and drive a Formula One car for the first time. And he did it, and he did great. And the coach was saying that this is going to be nice because this guy is very teachable. I mean, he's very good at his sport, obviously. He's the best in the world at rally car. And then guess what? He still is teachable. He looks for feedback. He wants to improve. I think from what my experience, I've realized a few different things. So one is that we have this concept that younger people are more learnable, more teachable, and that's just simply not true. If you ask teachers who teach kids nowadays, it's harder to teach them, harder to get them to correct themselves. I mean, you could see it even with little kids. My daughter, her cousin, both of them don't know how to do many things because they're like 2 or 3. And yet, when you try to teach one or other, they may or may not listen, right? Some just get frustrated and give up. Some just go do something else. Some will sit there and try it again without your input. Some will sit there and try it again with your input. There are so many variations. And I think a lot of this is about training, conditioning, society. And that's the thing about learning. There's sometimes reasons for people to learn, and you would think that would make it more likely they learn. But I don't know that it's correct anymore. And sometimes it's just that people learn. They're there to improve. They don't mind taking feedback. It doesn't hinder them. It doesn't smash your self-confidence. And I think that's an important thing to realize. There's nothing wrong with saying, I don't know. I need to learn. Can you teach me? Can you help me? I think that's something forgotten many times in the world today. So for me personally, I change hospitals a lot. I do locums. Fill in when there's a need. Then I'm gone. I have to learn new systems. I just simply don't know how things work in other places. I may have worked a decade already, but it doesn't mean I know how it works in this one particular hospital. When I talk to specialists, I don't know many things. I'm not the specialist. And sometimes people don't like it, who are in my position, my job. The specialists tell them like this, talk down to them. But I don't know this stuff, so I think it's okay. And I think for me, that's the big thing, right? There's many things we don't know. There's even many things we think we know that we don't know. We may be able to do it better. Why not just listen? Because we know it. Because we have self-confidence. But I think if you think about true self-confidence, people who don't mind listening, right? They're confident that they're not stupid. They're confident they know their stuff. But there's always more to know. As one of my attendees said, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. Which is completely true. In math, for example, I have a friend who, did her PhD, postdoctorate, blah, blah, blah. We were asking her, what exactly do you study? And she said that if I explain it to you, you still wouldn't understand. Which is true. It sounds condescending. It sounds rude. It sounds like I'm stupid. But I talked to somebody else who is a math PhD. He's like, I may not understand either. There's just so many fields of math. And even he may not know it. I think part of it is this idea of being shamed and not knowing. I remember going to an Indian restaurant with a guy who's from Pakistan. He did schooling in India, though. So he's very familiar with Indian food. He speaks, Hindi. But guess what? We went to the restaurant. He asked, what's good here? And I looked at him and I asked him afterwards, like, don't you know the food? He's like, oh, no, India's really big. There's lots of parts of it. He wasn't ashamed. There's nothing wrong with asking. And I think that's the thing. Like, people make fun of men for saying that men don't ask for directions and women do, which isn't true necessarily. Women often don't ask as well. But I think many times women are more likely. Because men pride themselves having a good sense of direction. You want to figure it out yourself. And I think there's something to be said about figuring out yourself. It's a good thing to try it yourself. No argument there. But the issue is when somebody is able to give you feedback, good feedback, criticism that will help you improve, and you don't take it. That's no longer about doing yourself. It's about being stupid. And people today who don't listen are just simply stupid.